Hello and welcome to the Imagine AI Live podcast. I'm your host for this event, Chêrénique. We are here in New York City for the first Impact event, and I have a very special guest with me now. I have Daniel. Welcome.
Hello, Chêrénique. Thanks for having me again. It's good to see you again.
Yes, it's been a while since Vegas.
It's been a while.
Well, welcome on. Please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about what you're working on.
Excellent. Yeah. So my name is Daniel Cohen-Dumani. I'm a founder and CEO of a company called Experio. We are in the process of building an AI-powered knowledge management platform designed specifically for professional services and consulting firms.
Awesome. So explain to me what your ideal client would be like and how they would use your product.
So any consulting firm, and my background is in consulting, so obviously I understand the industry well. And when you work in consulting, one thing you're challenged with is this concept of retaining and recalling your knowledge, right? So if someone comes in your organization, they may not know anything you know, and if someone leaves, you may lose a lot of their institutional knowledge. And those consulting organizations suffer from this. So what we add about is providing them with a capability to enhance what they do. So this can address any mid-sized consulting firm, any consulting firm that's in the business of providing value to their client by reusing what they've done in the past.
Okay, nice. So how do you get that information and how do you organize it or make it easily accessible? What is the process like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you think about consulting firm and professional services, they are working and usually between 10 and 15 applications every day. So there's content scattered across a lot of different systems, right? And that's a challenge, right? Because you're constantly trying to think, where can I find that information? In most cases, you don't find it. So our concept is to go out and connect to all of those different systems that have digital source, like it could be a Google Drive, a Box Drive, or Microsoft SharePoint Drive. It could be a Slack messages. It could be meetings recording. It could be your time and billing system or your CRM system. And there's a lot of information and great knowledge in those systems. So we're going to take it all, curate it using, of course, AI and some special algorithm and proprietary things we're building to take that knowledge out, curate it, and create a virtual knowledge map of what you have, right? So that it can be reused and recalled using, of course, generative AI and chatbots of the like.
Yeah. So with anything that's using information or knowledge like you're doing, there are, of course, security concerns. How have you addressed any of those issues?
Great question as well. And that's interesting because obviously the larger the firm, the less likely you're going to have access to everything, right? So, at the same time, we need to be concerned about privacy and that you only can see what you have access to. And by the way, this has been a great problem of Gen AI in general today is people are discovering that all of a sudden they have access to things they shouldn't have access to, right? So we're taking a privacy and security first approach. We are, as we're extracting the content, we're extracting not only what the content is and its knowledge, but who has access to it, so that when you ask a question and you try to retrieve it, it's being filtered down to only the people that have access to.
Nice. Very good. And how did you end up getting connected with the Imagine AI Live community?
So, obviously I went to the last show in Vegas in March and we met there. I found about the conference back probably in December of 2023. I was looking for places to go network about AI. And I felt like this was a very interesting conference. It's not sponsored by big tech or vendors like most conferences are. It was agnostic, but more importantly, it was targeted business users and leaders, right? Which really attracted me because I am essentially a technologist, but also a business person. And I thought it was a great place to go network with like-minded people.
Awesome. So we're here at the Cornell Tech campus, which is a very special place to be, but it also brings up the question of education today. So for those that are entering into university and seeking out an education, is there any advice you'd give to them surrounding AI and technology integrated into that?
Absolutely. I think that every student needs to understand that AI is not their companion or their mini coach, to help them go through learning faster and better, right? And they have to be conscious of using AI in a way that's beneficial to their learning activities.
And not a hindrance, right?
And not hindrance, right? So when you ask a question to a ChatGPT or whatever chatbot you're using, don't say, tell me the answer. Instead, say, tell me how to get to the answer and the step-by-step approach to understand the problem. And if you're struggling on something, the same thing. Don't ask, what's the answer, but ask, how do I go back and what are the steps I should take to get a better answer?
Yeah, help me brainstorm how
Help me
to.
brainstorm, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI is definitely changing education.
Absolutely.
But, we've seen, and I think institutions, universities and colleges and schools, high school and the like, have to think back about how they're going to embrace it and not prevent it.
I got to speak with the dean here at the Cornell Tech campus this morning, and he has a very good attitude about AI and technology and integrating it into education. He's very open-minded about it, and that's a nice attitude to see that is going to be educating the next generation of people.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, it's great. So what about those that are already in the workforce or about to enter the workforce? What advice would you give to them?
The same advice is think about what you're doing every day. And imagine if you had a companion, a co-pilot that can help you achieve your task faster, better, with higher quality, where you can now focus your brain power and your human energy to something that's more valuable than mundane, routine, doing the same thing over and over, right? And you have to be open-minded. I've seen many folks that say, yeah, I've tried it didn't work, I'm done. Right? And I always insist, I say, you have to get to a point where you don't try it once. You keep trying, educate yourself. There's amazing resource available from podcast videos, everything online where you can educate yourself so that you become a powerful person, a person with new capabilities you didn't have before.
Absolutely. So on the topic of AI, do you have any fears or what are the biggest challenges in the progression of AI?
I think, when you think about new technology in the past, they've been adopted slowly, right? And it's been going step by step. And I think technology was always intended to achieve one goal, right? So if you had a software, it was to do something. If it was a CRM software, it helped you just be better at managing your customer. What's interesting with AI, specifically large language model, is that they have unintended use, unexpected use. People are using it for ways that it wasn't intended, but in good ways, right? For instance, you can use a large language model to do things that the makers and OpenAI didn't expect people to use, right? So you're seeing more and more of this, which makes it unpredictable. And bring some ethical and safety concerns, right? Of, are you using it the right way? Are you paying attention to the risk, right? Because AI is not perfect, and if you just believe what's being said by an AI agent, then you may be getting the wrong information, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of challenge, and I think that. I've spoken about that before, is there's still a lack of regulation and a lack of guardrails. And I think commercial organizations are probably not the best one to just put their own guardrails. They're trying. We're going to have to see how that happens. But, at least in Europe, there's some regulation coming. Here in the U.S. as well. We're hoping for more, obviously.
Absolutely. So on the flip side of that, what are your hopes and what do you think AI can do to benefit people in the near future?
I mean, amazing things, right? And when you think about the power of AI, I do strongly believe that AI will help solve climate change, right? And will help solve cancer and diseases that, couldn't be solved before. Will give human the ability to do things that you just couldn't do before. Right, so it will allow people that are not as fortunate to be able to learn things that they couldn't otherwise. Right, so I think it has an amplifying power that's amazing and exciting. Right,
Yeah.
so but it also brings a lot of fear for people. Right,
Yeah.
so it goes so fast that it scares a lot of people.
but it's here.
It's here.
So how do you use AI in like your day-to-day life and business? What are your personal ways of using it?
I use it in a lot of different ways. Someone was asking me if you take my AI tool, I mostly use Perplexity, which I've gotten to be really good at using. It works well for my workflow. I use it for content generation. I use it for review my content. I use it for marketing. I use it for sales. I use it for brainstorming. One unintended use of AI for me has been being able to learn concepts that were very hard, that would take me weeks and weeks to master in minutes, literally, right? So I wasn't expecting that I will use AI to learn more and faster, right? And that's been amazing.
Yeah.
I just can't live without it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you give us an example of that?
Yes. So as I was building my new venture, we're building everything on a concept called knowledge graphs. And that's a concept that's been around for a while, but it's complicated, right? And I think I've used a chatbot to take me and explain and distill things that would have taken me minutes and hours to search online and probably read 10 articles and couldn't find the right one. It just summarized it for me and gave me a good answer, or good enough for me to learn and grasp it. I used to be a programmer. I haven't programmed in years, and I've used AI to help me write some code now and help me be better at experimenting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So one last question for you today. If there is someone out there watching this that is thinking about attending the next Imagine AI live event, what would you tell them?
I would say you absolutely have to come. I love the format. It's 20 minutes talks. There's workshops as well if you want to go deeper in some details. You can grasp a lot of content, a lot of ideas. I left the March conference so upbeat and so excited. I told everyone, hey, this was the best conference ever. So absolutely, you should try to attend the next one.
Amazing. Well, thank you for that endorsement. And thank you so much for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, my pleasure.